You guys have probably sipped some Coca-Cola in your lifetime, but what if I told you that it was invented by a Confederate pharmacist who had a morphine addiction and invented the drink to cure his addiction? After almost dying in the Civil War, Dr. John Pemberton was given morphine to help with his wounds. Unfortunately, he developed an addiction. Desperately looking for a cure in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, he stumbled upon Vin Mariani, an alcoholic drink which combined cocoa leaves and red wine. And it was said that this drink would cure addictions, help with anxiety and depression, and a lot of other symptoms. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna make my own version of that. The drink was made of a combination of red wine, cocaine, and cola nuts. And at the time, doctors claimed that it would help with your addictions, your anxiety and depression. And they were technically right, because if you drink red wine and cocaine at the same time, I can understand why you think you would be feeling better. Probably not the best long-term solution. Anyway, alcohol was eventually banned, and so a new recipe had to be made, which is when Pemberton added sugar, vanilla extract, caffeine, and made a drink closer to the Coca-Cola that we know today. And with the new drink, that's where Frank Robinson enters the picture. He's actually the one who named the company and the product Coca-Cola, and he actually made the logo himself. Despite Pemberton thinking that the drink was a failure, it was actually Robinson who made sure Coca-Cola would stay alive through marketing. And after posting up banners throughout the city, Coca-Cola became insanely famous in Atlanta. And despite seeing local success, Pemberton was still pessimistic about the future of Coca-Cola, so he sold his shares and basically put Frank Robinson in the driver's seat. And knowing that he needed extra help, Frank Robinson sought another investor, which is when he ran into Asa Candler. And at the beginning, Candler didn't really see the vision for Coca-Cola, but after some convincing from Frank Robinson of how they could market it locally, they decided to go into a partnership together. And with Asa Candler's investment, they decided to take Coca-Cola all over the city of Atlanta, going into pharmacies, grocery stores, and their most genius effort, taking it to soda fountains. You see, the most genius thing that Coca-Cola did in their entire history as a brand was offer free sample slips to soda fountains across the city. Because soda fountains were such a popular place for people to socialize, it was the perfect opportunity to get people in a good mood and to try the drink. And it was around this time, unfortunately, where Dr. John Pemberton, the creator of Coca-Cola, succumbed to his morphine addiction. And with Candler in the driver's seat, he decided to turn the Coca-Cola company into a nationwide brand. And they accomplished just that, spreading all over US and Canada, now working their way to turn it into an international drink. And in the beginning, there was a lot of challenges with that, because drinking Coca-Cola in Europe was a bit insulting, like in France or in Germany. That's when Candler ran into two lawyers who convinced him to turn the soda into a bottled drink. At first, he was like, no. Coca-Cola is a soda, there's no way that this would sell in a canned drink. If people can take it home, it's just going to completely destroy the feeling that you get when you sip that Coca-Cola. But Candler decided to try it out anyway, and it was amazingly successful internationally, specifically this bottle design, which we still see to this day. And so at this point, Candler had done his job. He had created this internationally successful company, and so he just dropped out of Coca-Cola and was like, I'm going to go become the mayor of Atlanta. He then sold the company for around $25 million, which will be worth roughly $373 million in today's market. Now, one of the investors who acquired Coca-Cola had a son named Robert Woodruff, and it was this guy who was responsible for manufacturing the drink and taking it even further in the early 1900s. You see, it was Woodruff who made sure that the drink was properly manufactured and distributed, like with multi-bottle packaging like this. Even though Coca-Cola was great commercially, they were not sunshine and rainbows when it came to ethics. They had vending machines that served one side for whites and one side for everybody else. And that's where companies like Pepsi came in to serve minorities in this space. They offered bottles with more soda, the same price, and marketing which appealed to them. At this point though, it was too late for Pepsi or any other competitor to catch up, because Coca-Cola had become a national drink, supporting soldiers in World War II, becoming the national symbol for America worldwide, and even creating the image of Santa Claus. It's crazy to think that one man's addiction led to one of the most powerful corporations in the history of the world. Moral of the story, please don't mix cocaine with red wine.